Rachel. Olia. Carter. Blake. Carter Blake, yeah, I got you. I saw you were, and Nathaniel's here. Dylan. Evelyn. No, Eddie. He's online, so we're good. Medina's here. And Jewel is online. Austin, I just saw you come in. Olivia. Victor, I saw you. Emma. Polkett, I talked with you already. Lily. Raylan. And Grace is not here. Not yet. And so let's see. Oh yeah. Good. Give you credit here. All right.
Did you call my name?
Is that Eddie?
Yeah.
I got you.
Oh, you did? Thank you.
You're welcome. Jewel, I got yours down too.
Okay, thank you.
Everything's working. I'm loving it. I have a lot of stuff to talk to you guys about. And I think what I want to do is kind of finish up Egypt. And then we'll talk about quiz 1. And then we'll hopefully move on to prehistoric Aegean part. So anyway, if that's for me, tell them I'm busy, okay? Akhenaten, did we talk about this yet?
I don't think so.
Okay, I don't think so either. I'm all like Carter. Oh yeah, we did. We talked about the face. That's right, the eyes, the nose, and the mustache. Yeah, good. This was pretty much at the end. Did we talk about the coffin? Oh, different kind of coffin. Sorry. So the innermost coffin of Tutankhamun. And I got to really dig into this a little bit. And Tutankhamun is the son of Akhenaten and Nefertiti. And we talked about this. And basically, Akhenaten was kind of a rogue pharaoh. He split with the traditional religion and decided that the sun god was the true God. And so that's why you see this disc up here and you see the rays emanating and shining. That's really, one of the things about this, that's really how we describe the sun even today. Do you ever notice that? People draw the sun and have the rays coming, even when you're a little kid. Even when you're a little kid, you do something, hey, maybe like this. We see the sun.
Well, you always put it in
Pardon me?
Usually it has a mountain and then it is.
It's in the corner of,
This,
no, just when you draw it, like when you. like-
Oh, yeah, right. Oh, I see what you're saying. If we would cut it off like this and we draw a mountain, is that what you're talking about? Yeah. All good. And that's what's happening here. It's cut off by the upper edge, so all good. And that is at least part and parcel to what we would call a convention. A conventional way of drawing the sun would be to have a round circle disc, whether it's in the corner or in the center, whatever. You have the rays coming out. It's not just Egyptian, it's all over Western visual art. It's all over the world in visual art. How about Japanese Imperial War flag? Second World War, red disc. Rays going out. So anyway, yeah, this is 3,500 years ago. And this is what they did. But anyway, a lot of these things still persist. Now, just checking. In the early 1920s, a guy named Howard Carter found King Tut's tomb. You guys have heard of King Tut? Yeah, it's the most famous pharaoh ever. Well, see, what we had at late 19th century, early 20th century is we had a lot of European guys, excavation, archaeologists, people digging around in the Middle East, and they were finding all kinds of stuff. But this was the find that kind of defined the whole era. This find of Tutankhamun's tomb was spectacular. And so this is the innermost coffin, and basically when the Egyptians buried one of their pharaohs, they had coffins inside of coffins inside of coffins. And then in the center was the mummified pharaoh. And so this is like so well preserved. And in fact, we think that many, if not most, of the pharaoh's tombs were robbed over time. Just happens, you know, it's like worth a lot of money. There were a lot of people digging around.
I never understood why people grave rob. Besides, like, not just like I can understand if there's like, you know, treasures or, you know, stuff that can, you know, get you a bunch of money, like a pharaoh's tomb, but like just like a common grave. People grave rob those. I don't understand why they do that.
Yeah, good question. It is a good question. Anybody got any thoughts on that? Carter.
They used as blackmail for the families of the loved one who died.
Sometimes that's true. As a matter of fact, in I think it was the 1870s, 1880s, there were some grave robbers. They wanted to rob Lincoln's tomb in Springfield, Illinois, and they wanted to hold his body for ransom, to blackmail it. But that's a famous person. There's been different reasons for people over time, but even with common people, a lot of times, at least I don't think we do this so much in this day and age, but a lot of times they would put some of the valuable some of the, some small amount of treasure with the dead. And in England, they would actually, you ever heard the saying called, let me phrase this properly, putting pennies on your eyes? Anybody ever heard that?
I heard the concept.
Emily, you said you were shaking your head. No? Did I get your name wrong?
Oh, me?
Yeah,
Oh, my name was
what's your name?
Evelyn.
Evelyn. Okay, Evelyn, sorry.
Yeah, like I learned that before, it's also very common to bring them all together for things.
Yeah, absolutely. And the reason they put money in there was that there was this belief that there was a river Styx that one needed to cross to get to heaven. And there was a boatman there to ferry you across the river Styx. Evelyn, I'm so sorry. I won't misremember. Yeah, so anyway, that's one thing. Like,
It's not a stick. It's not what you call it, like a stick, what?
STYX,
It's
river
not-
Styx.
It's not a river sticks to heaven, it's a stairway to
Well, see, it's just different
heaven.
beliefs, they morph over time, but this comes out of ancient Greek mythology, as Evelyn was talking about, that this is really a carryover.
I don't think you get it.
Well, I think that there's another reason people grave rob.
I know that scientists would do it later on to send you data.
Emma, EMA, right? Got it. I'm learning your name slowly. Emma's right. I was gonna bring that one up too. A lot of cadavers were needed to do scientific medical experiments. And in terms of religion, it was always a sin, a sacrilege to cut up deceased people. That's just simply not done. But a lot of noted medical people and scientists over time would hire grave robbers to pull out corpses so that they could dissect them. Today, in today's world, it's still a practice, except people donate their body to science occasionally, but. So, yeah, there's all kinds of reasons. Grave robbers, yeah. But, see, I think that you're just a good person, like, and you don't understand, like evil deeds.
Well, I do understand evil deeds because I've seen it with my own eyes. I almost became that very evil.
Ooh,
But before I decided to get help,
yeah,
and again, 2020 almost turned me. Basically, it almost turned me to the very thing I swore to never become. But it's just sometimes I can try to find like what motivates someone to do
well,
that.
I think that's a good line of inquiry, though. I love the question.
I don't care one thing. I don't care. Like, I mean, like, obviously, I'm gonna be upset as anyone else that if they do something stupid or evil as that. But I care more about the why rather than simply they did it.
Yeah, oh,
Because it doesn't answer the question, it's the why.
that is a question. Yeah, I understand that. Good.
Because plus then it will give a bigger reason as to why they should be dealt with this way.
Yeah, so, yeah, and it's a wide spectrum of reasons why people do things.
And the reason why I asked about why people would grave rob is because back where I'm from, South Springfield, Illinois, we actually had a church not far out of my hometown where one of my family members actually got married at, and there is a small graveyard about a couple blocks from said church. I worked out there with a couple of my friends back home a couple summers ago. And we worked, and one of the work at the grave, I watched at the gravesite, I watched them do it. And then when we went back there again, 2 weeks later, one or two of the graves was desecrated. Did I say that right?
Yeah,
We don't know who it was or why they did it. And plus, it constantly makes me think, what if someone tries to rob my grandfather's grave? There'd be no point because he's cremated and he was a Vietnam vet. The only thing they're gonna find in there is a small container with his ashes. There's nothing of the lack of them. It's pointless. So that's the why factor. What do they hope? What do these idiots hope to gain?
yeah, I don't know, yeah. Modern day, yeah, grave robbers, I do know. But they've been doing it since people have been buried in the ground. And so anyway, they did a lot of elaborate things with a pharaoh back 3,500 years ago or so. And bottom line with that is that they buried the pharaoh with everything he or she in one instance could possibly need in the afterlife. And so I showed you the solar boat that they found, Khufu's solar boat, and that was the boat that was going to carry Khufu to the other side, which is not dissimilar from the river Styx. You find all of these recurring themes across the world through ancient times and even still today. But with Tutankhamun, it was pristine. They couldn't believe what they found. And that's what made this so spectacular. I got a question for you guys. 5 years ago, 2017, I got the photos on my phone. I had to remember. There was a Tutankhamun's tomb exhibit at the Science Center here in St. Louis. And it wasn't the real stuff, it was all replicas. But it had a replica of the death mask here. And it was spectacular. And they had a lot of the other kinds of things, and they had mummified animals buried with Tut, as we call it. But bottom line was everything, you know, carts and food and all kinds of things, clothes, just everything. And it was elaborate. It was well hidden, obviously, to survive that long. And so when Carter found it, this was like the first intact Egyptian tomb that ever was. And part of the reason it was, how should I say, undiscovered for such a long time is that in the line of pharaohs, actually King Tutankhamun was not a pharaoh for a very long period of time. And in fact, he was made the pharaoh at a young age, and he was killed. We know he was killed because they did X-ray analysis of his tomb and his mummy, and it looks like somebody busted his head. Yeah, it's got a big hole. So we think he was murdered. Probably what they call palace intrigue. Back in the day, they would kill off the king and then step up to the throne, and was all this kind of, oh no, I'm going to use another word that goes back to this, skullduggery. Bottom line, skullduggery, all of this kind of killing and stuff. Anyway, it was amazing. And on the entrance to the tomb, there were warnings placed out there. They could read hieroglyphs by this time. And it said, do not enter. All those who violate this tomb will die. And guess what? It happened. This was like, this added to the mystique of this. I said, whoa, this is scary. Reaching out from the grave and killing those who violated the tomb. Like, what was that word you used? The
Desecration.
desecration. That's a good word. Because it's is like to remove. You dehydrate, you lose all of your body fluids, you're dehydrated, you know, whatever. Bottom line.
By the way.
And desecrated, the last part of that word is that the place or thing was considered sacred. So you make it, you violate the sacredness of this. And so anyway, this is desecrated tomb by any stretch, any definition. But all these things, all these strange things died. All these things, these people died and all these strange things started happening. And people wondered at the time about the curse of Tutankhamun. This was like a big deal. And so subsequent analysis in the modern day, with the modern day tools of science we had, they found out it really probably wasn't a curse. What happened is this. I told you about all the stuff inside the tomb. One of the things inside the tomb, among many treasures, was food. Wheat, to be exact, among other things. And I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this. Evelyn may have. You seem to have a pretty good education. How about this one? What grows on wheat after a long period of time? Do you know anything about it? Grows on wheat, on grain. Like mold and stuff, yeah. And some of these molds are highly toxic. And so there was like 3,000 years, 2,500 years or something of this wheat growing toxic mold. And when they opened that tomb, they all breathed it in and they died. And how did they find that out? Because subsequent researchers went down inside the tomb and did samples off the walls and things. So yeah, that's likely what did it. But anyway, spectacular. This was so spectacular that it changed a lot of things in the Western world, in Western Europe and in America. And there was a revival of Egyptian culture and design. Art Deco was the preeminent design movement of the 1920s, early 1930s in America and in Europe. And Art Deco artists and designers just drew quite heavily off of all of the stuff that came on Tutankhamun's too. It influenced design, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about that because of this modules. I want to show you just as like let's see what did I. Oh, in the news. Is it here? I have all this stuff. Yes. Let me make sure I got my screen share for our folks at home. I think that's good. Yeah, we're good. Well, this is something I found, like I've been trying to get across to you, that this stuff is like in the news all the time. The information age is astonishing. This is from a newsletter. It's called Arab America, and it basically is about Arab culture in the United States. And look at this. The Egyptian Theater in DeKalb, Illinois. This was like the best example of neo-Egyptian architecture, but it's because it's so blatant. But at any rate, look at this place. This is a theater, just like if you would go to AMC or Marcus Theaters, or go watch movies. At the time, it was silent movies, I'm sure, but where is Egyptian revival architecture? Where can you find examples of interesting and intriguing styles within the United States? Join me on a journey to learn more about this fascinating style, its motifs, its impact on popular culture. And so here are some other examples. Egyptian revival architectural style. Now, I already told you about the obelisk that is pretty much part and parcel of monumental architecture, but it's all over the place. And check this out. This is Highgate Cemetery entrance. Whoa. Let me go back here. See a resemblance here? Temple of Horus. This is actually after this. This is much after, but at any rate, look, this is Egyptian revival, and here is the source. And slideshow from current slide. And let me make sure my share is going. We're good. So Egyptian architecture, it has quite an impact. And there is a Sphinx. Look where this is from. I just want to point this out. This is from Sudan. This is like, where is Sudan? Botswana man would know. I'm telling Austin, where is north? It's north of where you guys are, but it's south of Egypt. It's way down the Nile. And so anyway, we regard actually, if you, in how we would define styles and places, a lot of scholars don't really see much of a distinction between African and Egyptian. It's still on the same continent and it extended way far south. And so anyway, there's a lot of scholarly discussion about that. At any rate, look, it's a Sphinx. You see the two, you know what those are? Those are snakes. Those are asps. Those are royal symbols. And this is a chest from Tutankhamun. This is exactly what was in that show at the Science Center, a replica of this.
That looks amazing.
And so what?
That looks amazing.
It is amazing. It is incredibly amazing. And have we seen this kind of depiction before? Ashurbanipal hunting lions in Mesopotamia. Just saying, this is the ancient world. And there's one thing I want to show you here too. This is from the 26th. This is the New Kingdom, by the way. But you see how this Egyptian sculpture, what it looks like. It's rigid, it's solid, and it's got 1 foot in front of the other. We're gonna look at some Aegean art, and we're gonna look at some ancient Greek art, and we'll see that a lot of what they did in this same period was based on this kind of Egyptian sculpture. But anyway, I just want you to remember that. And so and oh, modules. That was in the news. I got some more stuff that was in the news too. Huh? More news. Guess what? I can still get to it. I just found this the other day. It was originally published January 13, 2021. So it's a year and a half old, but a warty pig painted on a cave wall 45,500 years ago. Wow. So that kind of, yes, sir. Carter.
Chocolate, very old chocolate.
Yeah. Well, you know, when you're doing earth pigments, they'll be kind of brown that same kind of way. But look out what else they got too. They got the hand stencil too. And so what we're finding a lot these days is this cave art that was much celebrated for good reason, like at Lascaux and Altamira, southern, western Europe. It's really not the only place where this occurred. And what we got here is a reconsideration of the origins of people and what their civilizations were like. I know I'm going back to chapter 1. We'll probably keep going back there because it's all humanity. But at any rate, this was found in, if I can pull this up, Sulawesi. Austin, can you help me? Sulawesi? I don't know either. But at any rate, there is what it looks like inside the cave. And I want to show you this too. While abstract art has been found in Africa dating back to 77,000 years ago, no figurative art older than those found on sites in Europe and Indonesia has been discovered on the African continent. But we still see paintings and we think they're abstract. This gets me to vocabulary words. Figurative. What's that mean? Yeah, right in. Love it. Did you guys hear that? It represents something. It's figurative. It is, oh no, we're going to be watching. Oh, should I leave that on?
Wouldn't mind that.
Yeah. Bottom line though, here, figurative means that it does actually represent something. And so that's one of the things I wanted to talk to you about today. Vis-a-vis the quiz, and I asked you about the degree of naturalism on what you guys wrote about. Naturalism, see, we can chop all of this stuff up. Naturalism is really a high degree of figurative art. And the abstract, figurative. figurative, people, places, and things. Abstract representations, symbols, other kinds of art that drift away from the actual natural way that you would see this person, place, or thing. And so anyway, I gotta say, let me get right to that. Now I gotta try again. All right. I don't know why I'm getting two of these. Oh, yeah, there it is. Oh. This is a picture. This is an Egyptian painting. And to some extent, it has some degree of naturalism. What is naturalism? What part of this could you describe as naturalism and figurative? Any part?
It's not.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, the trees themselves have a pretty high degree of naturalism. That's how a tree grows. It's got a trunk and it's got branches, and they get smaller as they go higher. It has the foliage. Trees almost always take on some kind of shape, whether it's a cone or a ball or something, a sphere. But at any rate, that's naturalism. And I'm not, let me see. Yeah, that's what I want. So there's fish in here too, in the pool. And to some extent, they're pretty natural. And in the other sense, they're kind of symbolic too. They almost look like fish symbols, but you could probably identify what kind of fish this is. Is it a carp? Is it a bass? You could identify these as ducks. So to the degree that it does that, Carter, what you got?
It's catfish. It's catfish.
Catfish,
Probably.
probably.
Possibly.
Looking for the whiskers, but yeah, I'll go with it. So yes, recognizable naturalism. Naturalism is a movement away from symbolism. So anyway, and what Raylan was talking about here, I wanted to show you this. We were talking about conventions, the sun. The Egyptians had their own conventions too, and this is the way that they would describe a pool that had fish, flora, fauna. And up here, what do we got? We got a woman, and I think she's actually canning these dates, but I'm not sure. They seem to be coming off of the tree here. But at any rate, she's doing something, she's making something. We got baskets of them. got a jar. But the idea of these trees going this way, that only makes sense if you're standing over here and looking to the left. You see what I'm saying? So their conventions were somewhat different. Another convention that they had here is that everything was flat. And as I was doing some reading about what did I want to talk to you about, I was seeing some opinions, some critical thinking about how this flatness may have actually inspired Cubist painters in the early 20th century as well. I don't know, I didn't get into the weeds, so to speak, but bottom line, that was what they did. They made flat paintings. And so, let's see. So this gets me to this. What I wanted to do with this quiz is to kind of see if I could find, or at least craft some questions to find out where you guys were at. Baseline. I really expected that everybody would give it a good shot, do their best work. Emma, do you have some? Oh, sorry. But attribution, where is it? Where was it found? What was it made of? And a lot of you guys got that spot on, because you could get that right from the title, right where you find it. Formal characteristics describe the degree of naturalism, symbolism, exaggerated figures, iconography, and other physical and visual characteristics. And that's what I was finding for the most part was, I think I need to talk to you guys about that. I need to use terms, I need to spell it out. It's all right, that's why I'm a teacher. But I found that that was something that a lot of people, some people just basically ignored that part of the question. I know what I was talking about. Some people gave some good analysis of the formal characteristics. When I say formal, does that mean I'm wearing a tie? Prom dress? What? It means it's an extension of the noun form. Formal is an adjective that describes the form. And so the form comes in all kinds of shapes, or in all kinds of styles, I should say. And that's really what I want you to think about this kind of question as style. And there is a style. I just showed you some Egyptian art. And part of the formal characteristics is that there is a degree of naturalism first. Second is that it's all flat. There is no illusion of depth. It's all right there on the surface. And that is a formal characteristic. And so with some of these, I'm not sure how much you would say on the standard of Earth, how much these are natural figures, as much as they would be symbolic figures. They are symbols of warriors. You know, and in this case, you know, you can split it. A lot of this stuff exists by degrees. And so when we talk about pure naturalism, that looks like you would take a photo. That's naturalism. And all of these terms are pretty fraught with various definitions. So if I would say naturalism versus realism, which I actually looked up, and there's scholarly debate on this. Naturalism versus realism. And I think for what we're talking about here, those terms are kind of interchangeable. We're not going to split that hair with this, but realism, as it's used in art, as a formal characteristic, sometimes realism has as much to do with the subject matter. And so if you were to paint something that was photographic, had a high degree of naturalism, but on the other hand, it was about the disaster of war, like Ukraine, and you see all of these unfortunate dead bodies on the side of the road and stuff. That would kind of come more under realism because you're not pulling any punches, you're not idealizing things. So realism a lot of times is connected with a brutal truth, if you will. And so it's not always cut and dry, and or at least for right now, I'll take both as synonymous, realism and naturalism. And so, you know, you could talk about this being in its own way. Look, where I'm trying to, can I zoom in? No, it won't let me. But here's a dead guy. No one talking about the horrors of war. There's a dead guy underneath the horse. Trampled over, no doubt. Here are the captives, the soldiers captured in, these are the vanquished over here. So yes, right there. And there's another one over here.
Oh, yeah, all but the one on the far left.
Yeah, absolutely. So that would be kind of more realism. But again, for right now, I want to kind of want you to take those as being synonymous. Naturalism and realism, we're not going to split the philosophical hairs. And so, but I would say this, that in this case, this is probably a little more naturalist. The horses, say, you can see the muscles and things. Somebody even pointed out the genitalia and stuff as being more real. But at any rate, you take a look at these farm animals here and take a look at these animals. They're both close, but I think these look much more real or natural. Carter.
Students in the background of the are pretty real to me.
On the base,
No, on the background of the story.
oh, these guys.
Just
Yeah, they're kind of blurry, but I think you're right.
like your life and put out there.
Might be impressionism. Just saying. And so anyway, another thing that I noticed from your essays, your answers, and I thought this was pretty cool. There we go. And I put this in a PowerPoint. Yeah, we're still good there. And I'm gonna download this, so it'll be easier to navigate. And so I wanted to talk to you guys about sources. And that's how I asked you guys to put a bibliography, put the URLs and all of that stuff on. And the reason I did that, first of all, that's how scholarly work should always look. And that's gonna be the expectation here. This is university. And so there, the stakes have been raised. And so I want to show you this. This is the library link. Make sure I still have the same share. Oh yeah, we did. So this is the library homepage. And this is realism or naturalism, I said. But what I want you to think about is doing a deeper search. And so, look, they got a number of different databases and they got faculty support. This is really pretty cool too. I've had a lot of students that if they get lost or they can't find something, hit the library services. They usually come back to you and help you out. They have a librarian up there. But right now, I want to talk to you about articles. Articles, and we need a keyword. How about TUTENAS? Tutankhamun. Oops. Did I spell it wrong? So, oh, I know what we need to take that off. Search. See? Egyptian words. The mask of Tutankhamun. And so here is a whole bunch of stuff. And I just had this basic search here. And let's see, how many results do we have? 31,020. Well, that's a lot to go through. But there's a lot written on this guy. So how about if we did discovery of Tutankhamun's tomb? To mark 100 years since discovery. Yeah. Like I said, it was early 20th. We're now early 21st. And I thought it was 22 when it happened. At any rate, we got all kinds of stuff here. And if that's the story you want, that's fine. And how many? Well, we narrowed it down to 5,800. Now, I want to talk about refining your results. Limit, first of all, full text. I think that's important. You can read it, it's online, it's digitized, and it's in a PDF or a hot link. And so we got that. And the other thing I want to show you with this peer review. And that limited it down to 252. So what we're doing here is getting to a smaller number, but we're still looking at quite a lot. So we talked about peer review the other day. In that, what you'll find is that this stuff is typically in an academic journal. That's what I said right here, academic journal. Bottom line is that that has the approval of other scholars who review the work, and it gets published as a peer-reviewed article. And a lot of these will never get published until they are peer-reviewed. And so why am I going on about this? This is the gold standard for information. And what I was seeing you guys do, and it's just fine, I didn't ask you for peer-reviewed articles, but I wanted to see what you'd come up with. And what I was finding was some websites, some Encyclopedia Britannica, I don't know, I don't want to see your. I think encyclopedias are very, very useful. And information is very, very accurate. But peer-reviewed articles are the standard. I don't know, can you guys answer this for me? When you're in high school, do they kind of push you towards Britannica and stuff like that? No? Evelyn, what do they push you towards? Yeah. Peer reviewed? Okay, good. I'm just trying to take the temperature here because I want to make sure. First of all, that I want to get an idea that you guys know what I'm talking about. Any questions about this? Because we're going to be moving towards peer-reviewed sources as we move through the semester. And so, I want to maybe. Yeah, this person right here, she shows up in a lot of stuff. She's in that movie, The Secrets of Sakara. Salima Ikram. She's the friend of my friend that I met on several occasions. And so look, she's in all of this. I mean, ancient mummy, equipping the dead for return. Oh, another guy here, Aiden Dotson. I met him too. Whoa, I like to name drop. But they're friends. Aiden Dotson, my friend, Dr. Sarah Orrell, and Aiden Dotson, who teaches, he's in. But at any rate, Journal of the American Oriental Society, and you can access it here. But so you guys think you could find peer-reviewed sources? Good. Good. And bless you. And so anyway, this PowerPoint I have, actually have screenshots on here too. So. This is a search on Khufu Solar Boat Limited. Now I did peer review here and that's what changed, you know. Just in case you're trying to find the page. And so. And so anyway, I enjoyed reading what you guys had to write. I hope I did an adequate job of talking about naturalism and realism. I hope I showed you, if you didn't know already, how to get to some peer-reviewed sources. And, oh, I can't help it. I'm gonna do this. It's about ancient people. I found this too. Like I say, I get all this stuff. 9 ways Stone Age human ancestors were like us. And I don't want to buy it. I just want to steal it. Make sure my share, we're good. And so anyway, just different things. It's kind of amazing. They cured meat. They made bacon. And so this guy they found, a frozen European glacier, was found in the Alps, actually. This was like quite a big discovery in the early 1990s. And they call him the Iceman. And because we're having global warming, we're finding stuff that had been buried in the ice for tens of thousands of years. So anyway, but because we have all this technology and it was frozen, his corpse was intact. I mean, it was like cryogenics or something. Ooh, this guy.
Haven't people been trying? Haven't like scientists tried to like actually like put up? Oh yeah, when you said like cryo freezing someone.
Oh yeah, they have. Yeah, and there's some people that think they've done it, you know. And in fact, I read that if you were to pass away, you could pay somebody to freeze your body until they develop the science to revive you. But I'm more like you, or like you were talking about. I'm a veteran myself, and I'm gonna get cremated, so that is that.
Where did you serve?
Well, I served immediately after Vietnam.
So
I was just too young. I joined when I was 18, 3 weeks out of high school. The war was still going on, but I did basic training, airborne, jump school, infantry school. And by the time that was done, they were starting to send our POWs back.
So basically, you never actually got involved in, like my grandfather did.
No, not at all.
You guys were lucky.
I am lucky.
He was an infantryman, so like he was front line.
Yeah, I'm infantry too.
Yeah, I don't know much of the details because he wouldn't even tell my step-grandma, let alone my mom or her siblings. This.
Hey.
So.
Yeah, I understand that completely. Infantry is the real deal. They're the ones out there with the rifles.
I can't imagine that's what he went through. Plus, like the gunfire, the smoke inhalation, and Agent Orange. He died 2 weeks before COVID at age 74. Could have lived a couple more years.
See, I'm 68. That's the difference. I was too young.
But also, if you didn't have any of the injuries or inhaling all those gases.
Not at all.
He did.
Oh, yeah.
And also, by the time he was your age, he was pretty much in his early years of oxygen.
Oh, yeah. using a walker and all kinds of things.
Not a
him.
walker, he just hadn't had it on. He can only breathe it out for like maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah. Well, war is a bad thing. Well, anyway, I wanted to just kind of go over a few more of these things that they found out about ancient humans. They made instruments
I did, I got it.
in Turkey, which there's a lot of discovery there. They made homes and they mud brick homes, and check this out. The women were strong. Hey, just like us. I'm liking that. But yeah, they know that it wasn't like had been previously believed that women just sat in a cave and wait for the men to come back with the, anyway, ancestries, camping. They survived a climate change. It was ice age that happened 11,000 years ago. Boom. They baked bread and they had pets. So anyway, I didn't get to the Aegean, but it's all good. If I let you guys go 6 minutes early, would you hold it against me?
No.
Oh, okay. You got any questions too? I'll take them now. I'll see you guys on Wednesday.
Thank you.
Thank you. So,
Yeah, so what should I do? Should I read something or what? Because the court is giving the problem, because the whole essay is written by me. You can check, because I have not. Yeah, because the inspirations are from different websites, but the wordings are not same at all.
okay, bye.
So is it possible if you reconsider the page?
Yeah, I will. I just, I'm trying to, the reason I put that on there is that somehow it flagged me. I didn't know why. And so, yeah, I'll pull you some.
Because I also didn't know, because I have written essays for other subjects. So
Yeah, did you have? Did they give you the safe scan score when you?
no, but we have Grammarly, which tells you about plagiarism. But Grammarly told me that the only plagiarism in this essay is the quotation. Otherwise,
Right, yeah,
all the sentences are different. And quote is quite like an article, so I couldn't change the article because it's the main wording of the New York Times about the word copies.
okay, all right. Thanks for letting me know.
Yeah,
I
that's-
just want to know. This is why we're doing this first one anyway.
Yeah,
I
because
want to
this
see
is
what I need to flag to make sure.
yeah, but because this is also new for me, because this doesn't happen in India and they're different.
Sure.
Yeah,
Well, you know about plagiarism, and so that is good.
yeah, I know. Yes, I won't have a bother.
See, I'll get people in here from time to time. Some people like you very familiar with those issues, others not so much. They wouldn't know what peer reviewed is or how to find it. We're good. I'll take it up.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I just wrote it in all caps, so I'm good. All right.
Yeah,
No questions. concerning-
no, I thought, I remember yours. I thought it was good. It was good.
Okay, cool. Because you mentioned like some this stuff that I missed.
Well, yeah, and I wasn't too, I didn't take off a lot of points for any one thing. But I wanted to make sure you got a. Awesome.
No, I had a-
Yeah,
I had a quick question related to my writing. I
yeah,
think if you set up for us, you can present on the paper.
yeah, I don't, well, I didn't say plagiarize it, but we need to find out why that score, your score was what, 47?
25.
25. So you're on the border. Just,
So I was curious, like, is there a way that I can check where?
well, that's what I was asking Pulkit too, is, let's see. So I think I can get it up here. So. There we go. See, there you are, 25. That's what that comes in. And I said that was kind of borderline. So if you can keep this, I'll show you.
I feel like I should also maybe.
Well, see, it's kind of a yellow green. That means that it's like right on the cusp. If it were 7, that would be a bright green. So you don't get to see that in on yours.
I can't see where it came from.
Yeah, that's,
That's the weird part.
so you don't get to, let me see if I can, see, I don't know if I can get this on a student view. I thought,
That's like, I was just curious. Where, you know.
yeah, no,
Okay,
that's
so
what I'm talking about, and let me see. Seeing that. Yeah, I can't get that on student view. So anyway, all I need to say at this point, just be careful. Yeah, just be careful. I don't want you to bump it up, but 25 is within the range of actually putting your sources. When you list a bibliography, sometimes this will flag it as plagiarism.
Oh, I see.
So, you know what I'm saying?
No, I-
It's- yeah, but just be careful on that. Don't let it get too high. If it gets it higher than that, maybe we should
Talk.
talk,
Yeah.
but 25 is like right on the edge.
Okay. No, I understand.
I had some that were way high. Those guys I need to talk to.
Never had 100%.
And then, no, I don't think I ever had 100. I get like 97 or something. I think that. Not with you guys, I've had. But 97, I think the only thing that's the 3% is the student's name and the title. You know what I'm saying?
Why does that do this?
Oh, well, see, I teach this online and some people actually do that. They just find a website, copy,
from top to
paste,
bottom.
boom. No, I don't have anybody here.
It's like, why did it spot? Because I have a way of checking if I plagiarized something and it didn't come up, so I don't know.
So, well, okay, well, I'll buy it. That's good. If you stay around 25%. We'll be in good shape.
Will do.
Yeah. All right. So I gotta say, you may be the first student I've had from Botswana, which is like really cool. I've had students from Malawi and Zimbabwe. Right in your wheelhouse, yeah. So I'm glad you're here,
I get it.
and I think.
It's an amazing class.
Yeah,
Yeah, highly recommended by one of our friends.
oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, that's why
You
we,
just made my day.
yeah, that's why we took your specific
Yeah.
view
Oh.
class.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
You
too.
too. See you guys.
Just-